left field on this.
Right.
No offense to him, but he and Sterling Brown spoke at sort of a mini media session, remember, in the hallway outside the locker room after the game?
Yes.
And they had spent the 2.5, whatever hours that the game would have taken to be on the phone with lawmakers up in Milwaukee, up in the state of Wisconsin, right? Okay, all great. And we applauded them. I think the world applauded the Bucks, right? Okay, that upstaged and preempted what LeBron and Chris Paul had working on the back, you know, behind the scenes. But it was about to be in front of the scenes. And we're hearing George Hill talk about it, and we're hearing Sterling Brown, and I'm thinking, well, they're qualified only because this happened in their town. Kenosha is virtually a suburb of Milwaukee.
Sterling Brown he's qualified because they went a step further than him. He was the victim of police brutality. Absolutely.
When was that? I wrote this down. It was in it was January 26th of 2018 at 2 o'clock in the morning. It was the south side of Milwaukee. He pulls up in a Walgreens parking lot and parked across the handicap spaces because obviously there weren't many cars, and he wanted to run in and run out. And a police car happened to be sort of driving by and came over and confronted him. You're parked in the handicap. And then all of a sudden backup is called, and before you know it, he has been tackled and he has been tased. And several of the officers were somehow punished. I don't know what their punishment was, but they were reprimanded publicly for inappropriate action. Okay, so he had firsthand experience in the city of Milwaukee that was obviously almost like a precursor to what happened in Kenosha. Okay, so are they both qualified? Yes, they're qualified. Their team is qualified, but it was, again, widely reported that LeBron was very upset with this, and then he and Chris Paul go to this meeting, which was 8 o'clock Eastern on Wednesday night, and it was, according to everybody, it was chaotic. Everybody has an opinion. A lot of players were upset with the Bucks. Then a lot of players said, no, leave them alone. They did a great thing. Jaylen Brown was defending them. Doc Rivers is speaking. Other coaches are speaking. It's madness for a while.
Well, that's what happens, Skip, when you're not unified. You're not unified. When you get one group splinters off, and then there's other you have to take into account. There are other people in this thing also.
So LeBron got, again, I wasn't there, but I'm reading all the reports. He got increasingly frustrated in what became a 2.5-hour meeting. And he became at wit's end at the end of the night and heard no specific plan. It's like it was derailed. It was completely off the tracks.
Okay, yeah, we boycott a game, now what?
Okay, so at the end, he finally says, you know what? I can't take this anymore. I am out of here. And he walks out, and a number of his, I don't know if all of his teammates followed him, but a number did. And then a number of the Clippers walk out. And then I believe someone from LeBron's camp told someone in the media that, hey, the Lakers and Clippers are prepared not to play. They're ready not to play in the playoffs. Our Chris Haynes, who we have on the show a lot, TNT, Yahoo, we had him on yesterday, and he was up front saying, I just don't believe they don't want to play. Like they're going to sleep on it, and they're about to have another meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern yesterday to see if they had sort of slept it off. Well, reportedly, a number of star players then went to LeBron's room to sort of talk him down, talk him off the ledge, because he was just at wit's end over, what are we doing? We just blew a huge opportunity to do this right. And it worked out right for the Bucks. The Bucks are the stars of the night, and they should be. I'm still applauding what they did. It was great. But it preempted everything that was already in motion, and it took all night to get LeBron kind of, okay, because, look, I'm with you. He wanted to play. But remember, a lot of teams had internal dissension and doubt about going to the bubble,
And he was out front from the beginning.
In fact, ironically, he was kind of quiet about, I'm not going to say he was radio silent, but in the interim from the George Floyd murder in Minneapolis to the start of the bubble, he was fairly quiet because he was all in for basketball. I got no problem with that because, to your point, he's at the end of year 17. He has a good team. It's 50-50 now between Clippers, Lakers. Maybe you can throw the Bucks. They're the third favorite right now. But But does he have a great chance to go?
Absolutely.
You better believe he does. And I am not, because he's been such a trailblazer, such a powerful spokesman for racial justice for so many years in this league, that I got no problem with him wanting to go play basketball and maybe improve his legacy.
Right.
He's got a real shot to go 4-6 in the finals instead of 3-6. And to me, 4-6 sounds a lot better than 3-6.
I think the thing is, for me, is that when Chris Paul and LeBron, what they're trying to put together, okay, let's put this together so we can seem unified. Okay, Skip, it's kind of like you and I. We're going to say, okay, Skip, this is what we're going to do. Next contract, we're going to go in there, we're going to ask for this, and this.
Yep.
And then you go in there, and then we go in there together. Well, Skip, you said this, and then we're like, hold on, wait a minute.
You preempted it.
Right. Yeah. So now, all of a sudden, it's like, we're trying to play catch up. Well, the Bucks do what they did, and they didn't tell anybody.
Okay.
So how does Chris Paul and how does the other players react? So they don't really have a choice. What choice do they have in the matter? Because the whole thing was, Skip, we decided as a unit that we were going to the bubble.
Yep.
But you took this upon yourself when other people are involved, because you have to understand, for your actions, there are other people that have to have reactions. So I think that's the thing that was upsetting, because the one thing we know about the NBA and MLB, that their union is normally together, Skip. And they don't have one, doing this or saying that. Them and Michelle Roberts, they walk lockstep with the NBA. MLB, pretty much the same thing.
That is true. This was very un-NBA-like.
Yes.
Okay, so think about, in microcosm, George Hill sort of did it to LeBron again, because for those who don't remember this, George Hill, with 4 seconds left, he goes to the free throw line, game 1, at Oakland against the prohibitively favored Golden State Warriors, and he makes the first free throw to tie. That tied it at 107.
Yeah.
Well, he's got a free throw with 4. I don't know if they'd made a shot at the end of the... But this is to win the game, potentially, and he missed it.
Right.
And then it gets exacerbated. It gets compounded by J.R. Smith's mental blunder. He dribbles out the clock.
Right.
The wrong direction. And LeBron is again at wit's end, because George Hill has missed the free throw on a feed from LeBron.
Right.
And then J.R. has blown it all up. And so LeBron, and I didn't love this, but he went and sat a little apart from his team, and I thought he pouted, and they lost overtime 17-7, and he didn't shoot for the first 2.5 minutes of overtime. Whatever. The point is, George Hill, of all players, who, as a Spurs fan, I'll forever remember that R.C. Buford traded George Hill for Kawhi Leonard. He did, straight up. And he also got Davis Bertans, who's a really good player, now obviously in Washington. But he got both the Kawhi pick and Davis Bertans back for George Hill. Is that not one of the all-time steals?
Yeah.
Okay, well, so that's what I remember from George Hill. He went to IUPUI, like small school, Indianapolis. So the point is, that's the guy who did it to LeBron a second time and forced, sort of pushed LeBron into a funk. Like, how could you do this? Because he